I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning from Life in UK test part 444 while doing medial plane training. And if you participate in the medial plane training, that's what you're on the screen. Now the idea is that we're going to try for 3-4 minutes to learn something, and then we're trying to shoot in another video while this video is running, with all then compact in one perfect little short info video. So can we do something to the Black Death? Now first off, we're talking about feudalism. When we're talking about the Black Death, and when we're talking about the structural changes, which have something to do with the Black Death and probably also something to feudalism. But I don't think we can tell something about that. Legal and political changes. So let's try that. I think that is possible. Something like the origins of a parliament in the UK, or so can we name the other video. So, in the medieval times, there was the King's Council, and where the king had advisors, noblemen, and leaders of the church. In the year 2215, King John was forced to sign the Magna Carta. And in the Magna Carta, it was established that also the king, that's also some can say both, that the king is subject to the law. And these protected the rights of the nobility, and that restricted the king's power and protected the rights of the nobility. And the king had no longer the full power to collect taxes or to change the law. And if the king wanted to do it now in the future, he had to involve the noblemen in decision making. Now, when the king wanted to raise money, he called the noblemen in. And this was been already called parliament. But that is certainly, in England, parliaments were called for the king to consult his notes. And over the time, the number of attendants, the number of people in the parliament, again, use different expressions, increased, and two separate houses were formed. In one is the nobility, great landowners, and bishops. And that is in the House of Lords. And in the other one, the House of Commons, there are knights and wealthy people. That is meant of Scotland, but it's during the medieval times of the United States. We could add, but I don't really understand the part still if it's active or passive voting right. Only a small part of the population was able to join in electing the members of the Commons. In Scotland, a similar development of parliament happened. They had three houses called the estates, and they were the lords, the commons, and the clergy. During the time, also the legal system started to develop. We could add it as a little bonus. And also, for example, the principle that judges are independent of a government. This idea began to be established, developed. I can use multiple expressions. In England, the judges developed common law, but by a process of precedence, so based on previous decisions and tradition. And in Scotland, the legal system was codified, so it was written down. This is not really the perfect ending, but let's try it. So that is the first camera I have running there for this learning for the links and media plan training. And there we get another camera, which I'm going to start now. And on that, we're trying now to shoot a little info video for people who just search for that, a little bit about the origin of Parliament or the first development of the legal and parliamental system in England or so. And for us, that is perfect just to relearn it all and actually have it better than in the test in the presentation. Okay, it was a little bit much, but maybe I'm able to do it. During the medieval times, there was the King's Council, and where the king was advised by noblemen and also members of the church. When in the year 2215, King John was forced to sign the Magna Carta, and in that Magna Carta it was said that the king has to follow some rules. For example, could he no longer raise taxes as he wanted. And in that Magna Carta, the rights of the nobility was secured in front of the king, and that whole established the idea that also the king is subject to the law. Then the parliament developed a bit. So if the king now wanted to raise taxes or wanted money or so, he assembled his noblemen, and that was then called parliament. The number of the Italian people increased, and now there were two houses, the House of Lords and the House of Commons. In the House of Lords, there were the great landowners, the nobility and bishops, and in the House of Commons were the knights and wealthy people. Only few people could join in voting them. In Scotland, something similar developed. There were three estates, and these are the nobility, the clergy, and the commons. And the legal system also developed. And in England, it happened on the basis of precedents, so on previous cases and tradition. In Scotland, it was more written down, so codified. And that is according to the Life in UK Test Handbook, page 18 and 19. Stumbled a bit in the middle part here. Development of the legal systems. Judges are independent of the government. I think we made a good take. It was not perfect, but it's relaxed. So we will do now the medial plane training. First I'm going to stop the camera. Therefore. So we will do now the medial plane training, and if you participate in the medial plane training, that is at your own risk. If you're just here to learning for the Life in UK test, you can go directly to the next button. We are starting with a mushroom. They're bringing one leg up and they're pointing the foot down. They're putting the leg up. And the other leg, they're putting it up and they're pointing the foot. And then the legs standing wide apart, they're breathing in and out, down. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. Out. Now breathe in and close the legs. And out. So, the first exercise, we're bringing one leg up into a right angle. We're having a flexed foot. We're having even aligned hips, and we roll up with the back, and we're pressing from the top against the knee. You can do it quite comfortably, or you can put also more effort into it, or you can do it somewhere between. Over to the other side, the leg up, same setup, and we're pressing from the top. Next exercise, leg against up, like that. And we're pressing now from the inside. Even lined hips, yes, even lined hips. A right angle with the leg, flexed foot, and taller with the back, and a little bend in the elbow. And with the other leg, the leg up, same setup, and we're pressing again from the inside. A little longer. And the next exercise, a leg up, same setup, and when he presses up, side, up, and side. Here with the lined hips, taller for the back, and the knee presses up to the side, up to the side. The other leg up, and the knee presses up to the side. Even line dips, top of back, knee presses, up and down. And the last exercise, the heavy swing door. Bringing one leg up, right angle of the leg, flex foot, even line hips, sort of the back. We're pressing from the outside against the knee, little bend in the elbow, and we're slowly opening. And we're closing again slowly. And slowly again opening. And we're slowly closing again. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Slowly opening. Closing. And the last time. And closing. And down. Now to the other side. Leg up. Same setup. And we're pressing it from the outside. And we're like. Even line hips, sort of back and a little bend in. And closing it slowly. And slowly up. And closing. And 2 more times. And closing. Last time. And closing. And the closing exercise, legs staying on departure, breathing in and going down. Out. Get in. Out. Get in. Out. One last round, breathe in. Out. Breathe in and close the legs. And out. That was the video training. I thank you very much and until next time.